Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. I really am. I haven't been too good actually. I'm awfully sorry about this, but I wasn't too good over the weekend, and even today I was thinking, oh, I can't do this because I can't shave, as you know. I've told you, it's horrible this thing I've got, and so just before actually, just before I felt a lot better because I couldn't. I really couldn't do it. I really couldn't. So anyway, I'm going to do it. And what you see in my background there is the castle. So what I've decided to do, I didn't prepare anything, I'm being honest. Um, I'm going to do the origins of Liverpool, be bringing in characters and some others as well. We'll go a little bit further on. Some, um, I'm going to do some Victoria Cross holders. And then we'll have the clip. And I have a Victoria Cross here, actually. And I'll show you what I mean about Victoria Crosses and what they mean to people. Okay. And that'll be good. Anyway, I've still got my good friend, my very good friend, Anthony Brown. And he's actually done one of the portraits of a great soldier poet. And we'll talk about that when I'm talking about the VCs and Great War poets later on. And they're well worth listening to, honestly. They're well worth listening to. So I'm going to bring on my great friend, international artist, Anthony Brown. Hello, Anthony.
Good evening, Frank. Good evening, mate. Um, I'm sorry you still not, right?
Yeah, it was just over the weekend.
Wow.
And I know that you're a big red yourself. I
Well,
flew out, I flew off the couch. I couldn't get to that game yesterday,
oh,
and flew out off the couch when Trent
oh,
scored that goal. The winner that is, and
oh,
it made me feel better. But I was weak. I've been weak, from last Thursday onwards. I'm being honest. And anyway, I just it was only half an hour ago. I'm being honest, an hour ago. I
oh,
felt a lot better. And
good.
I said to Jason, look, and I explained to him. He said, well, all right, we'll cancel it. I said, no. I said, people will be waiting. I said, Anthony will be waiting. And I do feel
Uh,
a lot better. And I do, because I couldn't talk, which is a help to people. I
well,
couldn't
well,
talk.
Frank,
But I'm okay, honestly.
it's never an issue for me. Oh,
No,
Jason, go wait. So come back next. You know,
no, honestly, no.
just
I understand that, of course, because you're a good friend. You know
your health
that
is the main
yeah,
thing for all of us. You know,
yeah, we've all
now
said
now's the season to look after it. We're in the
it is, it
cold.
is. Yeah. But I
Jeez.
don't know what it was. I just don't know what it was. But anyway, I'm all right now. I think you're going to enjoy this tonight because it's about all the origins and
Well,
whatever tonight of all about Liverpool because a lot of people don't realise what was said and what was done about Liverpool, if you know what I mean. And I'll be talking about some particular fellas who were pivotal to Liverpool,
yeah,
pivotal to Scouse. I remember giving a talk. There was me and a couple of other people giving a talk during the Capital Culture Year, and we all got a thing. I said the spirit of Liverpool, the spirit of Liverpool. That's what I was talking about.
yeah,
Scousers and whatever.
yeah.
So I started talking about these people, and it's a bit like that for me. It's a bit
That's
like
our greatest gift.
yeah. So
you know.
Do you know who went to that where they give the talk? I tell you, who was in the audience. Uh, Dino. Dino was there.
Dino, God love him.
Yeah, Dino was there.
Such a dear man, you know.
Yes,
With
and
so many.
I went for a drink with him.
Oh, I've
I
been for
went for a drink and went over to the Dr. Duncan's because he gave it at the museum. You know, the museum on William Brown Street there. I didn't even know that they had an amphitheatre there. So
yeah.
anyway, I gave the talk there, and it was really good. It was really good. And he came up to me and he said, "Are you Frank?" I said, "Oh, hello, Dean, how are you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm fine, He said, "Do you fancy a drink?" I said, "Yeah, okay." And we went over to Dr. Duncan's.
Well, he would not have done that if he was not bewitched by your magic. You know what I mean? He didn't. He didn't. He didn't suffer fools greatly. He was
No,
a dear,
no,
and he, one of our guys. I think, if I remember rightly, it was Mark. But Mark, forgive me if it's not right. A few weeks ago, said, "Anthony, have you ever been on television?" Well, it was Dino that got me on TV first. We'd met through the culture thing. There was kind of uh, there was a great passion amongst us Scousers, and aside from the organised circus which came to town, the passion was wonderful. And you see people, and you do, as you describe, come and have a cup of tea or come and have a drink, and you just talk, and you were excited, and everyone was bouncing ideas. And we'd met Dean. I think we'd met him before culture, and I was aware of who he was and what he was, and also his previous life as a teacher. Which
yeah,
so Laney and I loved that, and we talked to him on many levels. And he was busy; he was bouncing everywhere, and because he was so recognisable, that he was obviously put in the front of certain little Quango things, culture Quango things, and he was always respectful and always wonderful. And
and and he spoke to everybody, didn't he? If anyone approached him, he
everyone,
spoke
there was
to them.
no
No,
higher above. He was just a genuine person. If you showed interest in him and his work, and um, he would, unlike that thing with, he's obviously seen you working. He'd have known of you.
yeah,
And it's like, wow, come and have a drink, Frank.
yeah,
Great way of cementing a friendship. You know,
yeah. And that was it. It was a good friendship. Uh,
yeah,
he used to have a show on Radio City called Talking Frank.
yeah.
He has me, Frank Maudsley, and Frank Prendergast.
Oh,
I think it was every Wednesday or something like that.
yeah,
Every week he had a show, and we were speaking about or talking about the social issues of the time, and we had a laugh. We had a laugh
yeah.
as well.
I mean,
Frank Maudsley out of the flock of seagulls,
yeah.
and
Obviously, I knew Dino, but I know I used to know Frank way back in the day in the nightclubs when they were big and we were just little uh,
little band.
bands, you know what I mean? But yeah, and he too has got a passion for the city, which is wonderful. And
Well, I think with that particular show, talking frankly, it was talking frankly. So we had the three Franks on, and
yeah,
it was all about the city as well, all about the misdemeanors by the government towards us and what had been going on over
yeah,
the years. And they used to listen to me when I went back, how Liverpool was and
yeah,
how we were neglected. And it was only for our city fathers that we grew. Honestly, that's how it was. And we were in the right place at the right time during all during the particular trade, especially sail, because we were handy coming up the North Atlantic into the Irish, into the Irish Sea, down to Liverpool Bay and into Liverpool, because it was great for us. So we were in the right place. We were the hub of British trade. We were the hub. Liverpool was the hub. So I'll do it. I won't be doing all the maritime, but what I will be doing, I just want to say hello to all these, if you don't mind, Anthony.
No.
Those people who've been waiting and seeing how we are, and Mark Kennish. Evening, Frank. Hope you're doing okay. Looking forward to the show as always. I still look at that piece in the New Brighton book. In the New Brighton book, I have where it mentions your day out there with your auntie years ago. Yeah, someone was writing a book and he got older than me. I'm going back years ago, and they said, "Have you got a memory of crossing the Mersey?" And going to, I said, yeah, I said, crossing the Mersey with my auntie and uncle, going over to New Brighton, and, getting all the sounds of, the fairs. And it was absolutely brilliant. The smell of hot dogs, the smell of candy floss, and all the noise, fantastic.
I remember New Brighton was such a family hub, I think.
And
it was... Let's not forget, we were in the days where we couldn't nip off to Lanzarote or whatever, every. So New Brighton was like a holiday.
It was.
Like always the baths, New Brighton baths.
I remember going over to New Ferry Baths when we were in our teens. About 18, 19 we were, all these young fellas. And we all went over to, we went to New Ferry Baths. We said, let's go to New Ferry Baths. So we went over there. And there was a friend of mine, he's since passed on, Georgie Smith. And he got undressed first. And he jumped in, he jumped in.
Ice cold.
And we said, "What's it like, Mog?" And he went, "It's going blue." Great, he said. And no one jumped in.
Got to be a first, though. Whatever we do, there's got to be a first.
And you know what? We got to a lake, some lake on the way there. I don't know where we were. Got to a lake. And we had a mate, but he wasn't from around where he just joined us. This lad, I don't know where he lived. I think he lived up in another screen somewhere. Anyway, he was out with us. And so we went over there. And the next we've seen this lake. And he Stagger Lee, his name was, and he wore glasses, Wow. And he went, I'm going to dive in there, screw this. So he took his glasses off, just like this lake. And he got on this little mountain and dived in and crunched up. It wasn't even a foot deep. Just crunched up. Just crazy days.
Me and water never got on, but I used to love a packet of chips and gravy.
Yes.
Just like you described, just the smells of all sorts going on and the noises. You were at Southport, you had the fairground going, and
unbelievable time. I'll just say hello to these. Mark Kinnish. Yeah, thank you, Mark, for that. Hope you enjoyed your day out or your weekend last week. Redbird, greetings, Earthlings. It's showtime.
Evening, Redbird.
Earthlings. Arthur Schofield. Evening, Frank and Anthony. Hope you're well and in form as you usually are. Look forward to tonight's agenda. Thank you.
Me too, Arthur. Thank you. Good evening to you.
Evening, Frank. Hope you're well, says Charlie Wood. And, don't worry, Frank, we understand. Hope you feel better soon, says Mark Kinnis. And love the chat, he carries on by saying. Love the chat about the castle. There's JK. And he says, I hope you feel better soon, bro. Frank, drink some olive oil the Italian way. No thanks. I don't know what you mean. And Redbeard says, that says to hear you're not well, Frank. If you want to stop the show at any time, we understand. No, I've got Anthony here to keep me company. I will get through it, believe it or not. And Mark says, evening, Anthony.
Evening, Mark. Thank you. Evening, all.
And JK says, hope you're well, Anthony.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good to be on with you guys.
And Shay McGowan's evening, lads, and sends us 2 pints.
Oh, just when we need it.
Just when
Any chasers going there, Shane?
Yeah. And you know what Mark says about Dean Sullivan?
Yeah, totally. I didn't see it coming. I haven't spoke to him for a while, but you don't know what's going on in people's lives, do we? And, yeah, a good one.
And Redbeard says, been checking your artwork, Frank. It's brilliant. Is that Xmas moral in your background, your latest piece? Just kidding. Your artwork is tops. I think he meant you, Just been checking you. Is that your moral in the background? Oh. Our holidays was at a day out in New Brighton, and so you were right there about what you just said before. Charlie Wood says exactly the same.
Yeah, we did the same. Or we went to Ainsdale Beach.
Yeah. And it's sad when you see the decline. Birkenhead has gone like that. Sadly, when you think people used to cross the Mersey to go to the Birkenhead market, now it's empty. Going on ferry was a treat. Then you're right.
You're right, Mark. And it's such a disgrace that the market's gone. I was watching news tonight about I think it was Burnley Market, and the same thing, where the people who've worked the market for years are evicted, like Birkenhead Market, which has been there for forever. Now is no more, but the land and everything is there. All the plots are all set up inside. So what?
Yeah, it's just absolutely mad. It really is.
Such a part of life as well, market life.
Yeah, every market is. I'll be talking about a market in a moment or two, which is unique, actually, Redbeard says, "Soz Anthony, you know I meant your art." You know what he said? I said that, and it made you. And hello, Anthony, says Charlie Wood.
Hiya, Charlie. Good evening to you.
So anyway, I'll carry on with this. And what it is, people, there was no such place as Liverpool if you go back. And anyway, an antiquary belonging to King John, he sent these people around, antiquaries around England. And what they came around for, to go to these ales and whatever, these places. They went around asking for the likes of manuscripts and things like that. And asking the earl or whoever it was, in charge of wherever they were, what do you think of the king? And, they either say, oh, he's all right, he's good and whatever. Now, what you've got to understand is that his brother was Richard the Lionheart, and he was always on these crusades. In his 14-year tenure as king, he only spent 4 months of his time in England. The rest he was out on the crusades. So King John had to, what he had to do, he had to gather taxes to give Richard, you know, to do these crusades, because no matter what, it costs money. It costs money to go into battles. It costs money to go in, especially the crusades. So he used to collect the taxes, and he used to say, listen, we can't afford this. But he used to put the taxes up because the King John, not King John, his brother Richard, he said, look, just put their taxes up. He said, but I'm getting all the flack's coming to me. I'm putting the taxes up. He said, all the flack. And this is why he sent these antiquaries around to see if he was all right. Especially after Richard had died, he became king. But they were still paying heavy taxes, unfortunately. They were all the debts that Richard had. So the realm had to pay for his quests over in the Holy Land, the Crusades.
John waited because of them.
Yeah, people seem to forget about this. Or it's hardly in the history books, to be honest, because Richard made them put up the taxes, and all the flack was towards him. And this is what it was like by all these barons and earls and dukes, even. So anyway, that was it. That was that. So he sent this antiquary around. Now, at the time, Chester had been silting up, and had been silting up for 1,000 years, ever since the Romans. Chester, the day, been silting up. So to embark and disembark troops in Chester, because Chester was the main focal point of the Northwest at the time, it was awful. You might have to wait 6 weeks, or they get stuck. They just get stuck, the boats. So if they wanted to embark troops or disembark troops, it could take a long time. Could take weeks. Anyway, he came up. He came this way. Oh, he went to Chester first. He got to Chester, this antiquary, and he went to see the Earl of Chester, and he was talking to him. And he said, what you think of our king? What you think of King John? He said, I don't like him. He said, why? He said, I'm paying heavy taxes here. He says, and you're saying, how do you like him? So if he has a black book, then, okay. Then if the antiquary has a black book, your name's going in this black book, mate. So anyway, he comes here, and he goes to a place called Hireton. And Hireton was spelled Hiretun. Hireton. So he gets to a place, and he's on top of this hill, and he looks down, and what he sees the river. He sees this river, and he goes, oh, that's handy. And he sees this other river coming off the main river. So he sees a two-masted vessel. And he goes down to inquire. And what it was a fella trading with these people, just trading. And they were trading in linen. And this fella that actually came from Ireland. He came from Ireland in the two-masted vessel. So he's just trading with these locals. So anyway, he was talking to the only thing that was there was a couple of shacks, where fishermen, went and they fished and they brought the catch back, then went back to wherever they were living.
Yeah.
And that was on the banks of the Mersey. It was on the banks of the Mersey. So he was looking at this other river coming off, and he said, who owns this land? He said, nobody. No one owns it. So he said, what's this river coming off here? What is it? And they said, it's not a river, it's just, we call it the pool. It's a pool where we fish. And you could fish for salmon in there. They used to fish for salmon. So anyway, you can imagine then, it was very clean, very, very clean. And obviously, the river that it came off was the Mersey. Yeah. Now, the Mersey is an old Mercian, comes from the old Mercian language, and it means boundary. So the Mersey means boundary, the river Mersey, the river boundary, because it's split between, as today, Liverpool and Wirral.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Birkenhead, so it's split, and that was it. And it was much wider then, by the way. Anyway, he says, okay. And he knew at the time that with this two-masted vessel, it was handy because it was just on the water, just bobbing up in the water, anchored, bobbing up in the water. So it wasn't silting up. So by the time, he goes around asking for manuscripts. So he went back to Hyerton and he took a couple of artifacts from there. And Hyerton, believe it or not, became Everton. So we viewed it from Everton Hill, where, say like where St. George's Church is, for example.
Yeah.
And that's where he viewed the Mersey.
Wow.
So anyway, he gets back to King John, and he's saying, there's loads of things here. He said, and I gets to a place. He said, but it's got no name and no one owns it. And my advice for you is to claim it for the realm. And he said, what is it? Why? Why do we have to claim it for the realm? He said, with Chester silting up, he said, this new place, doesn't silt up at all. And he mentioned about this tradesman, this Irish fella.
Yeah.
He said, so it must be the nearest point to Ireland for them to come here to this new place. So he said, well, hasn't it got a name? He said, no. He said, no, there's no name. So we went, okay. He said, well, what's there? He said about the people calling it the pool. He said, well, what's there? He said, well, there's nothing really. He said, there's just two shacks. But on the shores itself, there's lots of laver, which is old Anglo-Saxon word meaning seaweed. He said, well, all right. He said, I'll claim it for the land. And we'll call it laver. And the people calls it the pool, yeah. Okay, we'll call it Laver Pool. And that's how Liverpool got its name.
Wow.
That's how Liverpool, got its name. That's the origins of the name of Liverpool. So anyway, he said, all right, he said, what I want you to do, I want you to go to the nearest big town, the nearest Dale, and that's the Earl of Chester, and go and see him, and we'll put it under his jurisdiction. Right?
Yeah.
Now, where's the point? The antiquary said, well, listen, that Earl, he calls you forever. He said he didn't like you. He said, oh, did he? He said, yeah. So he said, well, all right, I want you to get up to Lancaster. What did he say? He said, oh, he liked you, the Earl of Lancaster liked you. And his name was William D. Ferris. So he said, well, get up there. Tell him to go down to this new place of Liverpool, and he'll become the new sheriff, the new overlord of this new borough, which is a great honour. So William D. Ferris came down to Liverpool, or Liverpool, as it was known then, and he became the overlord, and he was set with organising whatever, the likes of the new infrastructure of Liverpool, Liverpool.
Yeah, bring it into a fold with Lancashire.
Yeah, so that's what he did. So we could have easily, Anthony and people, we could have easily become under the jurisdiction of Cheshire, but we didn't. We came under the jurisdiction because of the Earl of Chester, saying naughty things about King John. So anyway, we became under the jurisdiction of Lancaster, you see. So he came down, and it was a great honour for him. First thing he did was to clear the top, the top of this like bit of a hill, bit of a little incline from the Mersey, which went up like that. So it was all, it was all full of sandstone. So he cleared it. He cleared it. He flattened it out. And what you see and what he built is behind me, is the castle. He
The
built that castle.
Victoria Street, as we know.
Yeah, yeah. It's incredible, this particular castle. So anyway, he built that in approximately 1234. That's when it was finished, 1234.
Wow.
And Liverpool, when we got our like first Royal Charter, I'll read it out. I'll read it out, and it's let's see. I think Jason's put a thing up. Has he? I don't know where I am here. Let's see. Yeah, there we are. And Jason, good. Right, so this is what I've gone off. Are you there, Andy? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I can hear you, Frank.
I can't see me. I can't see myself. I think
Yeah,
Jason's working on. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
I'm happily still in my little box. And I can
Can you
see.
hear me? So you can see. You can't hear me, can you? I mean, you can hear me, but you can't see me.
Gone now.
I'm awfully sorry there. I don't know what happened.
You all right? You back with us?
Yeah, I just don't know what happened there. I
Don't
was on
worry.
a roll as well. I was on a roll. But that's the way Liverpool was before. Well, was it before Liverpool was? That is this particular thing. So, and you just see absolutely nothing, absolutely nothing. But what you did have, you had the likes of Ireton, Ireton, and you had Kirkdale, you had Toxteth,
Yeah.
and King John had in Toxteth, he had this park where you could go and hunt for deer, believe it or not, in Toxteth, for deer and wild boar.
Wow.
And he had a lodge up there. All the dignitaries went there, and this is what it was like. This is what it was like. Anyway, anyway, that's that. So he came and he sent this royal charter, and he gave it to William D. Ferris, and it was King John's royal charter. I'll have to read it out, and this is in Old English, so you'll have to bear with me if I struggle with some of the words. And it's got, John, by the grace of God, King of England, Lord of Ireland, Duke of Normandy and Aquitaine, Court of Anjou, to all his loyal subjects who may wish to have burgages, meaning plots of land, in the township of Liverpool, greetings. Know ye that we have granted to all our loyal subjects who shall take burgages in Liverpool, that they shall have all the liberties and free customs in the township of Liverpool, which any free borough on the sea has in our land. And therefore we commend you that in safety and in our peace ye come hither to receive and occupy our burgages. And in testimony thereof we transmit to you there our letters patent. Witness Simon D. Pattersill at Winchester on the 28th day of August in the 9th year of our reign. So we've been on the throne for 9 years, King John, and this is in 1207. So this is 1207, the 28th of August. Liverpool officially became Liverpool. And that was that. So Liverpool, as I said, William D. Ferris, he actually built this particular castle. He built the castle, which is, you know, if you think about it, the castle which is behind me is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, what represents a castle? Now, the first thing that goes into a castle is a church, because it was very religious then. So a church goes in, and that church was named St. Mary del Keys. Now, St. Mary del Keys is spelt, you know, as the key of the lock.
Yeah.
The lock, St. Mary del Keys. And it's great, you know, it really is good. But also, what they have in these particular castles are soldiers. Soldiers. So it was garrisoned. Now, what you've got to take into consideration also, before the castle was built and it was being flattened, you know, where the castle is now, it was being flattened out. And it was, believe it or not, it was 50 feet from the main, looking down, that is, 50 feet above the sea level of the River Mersey and the pool.
Because now we've got a gradual slope down, haven't we? From
James Street. If you look at James Street, you know, it goes down. And don't forget, at the bottom of James Street where the Strand is, and then you cross over the Strand to the likes of you know, the Albert Dock and the Port of Liverpool building and the Cunards and the Liver. That's all reclaimed land. Yeah. Because at the bottom of James Street, as we know today, that was water. It was water there, right at the bottom. So all that is on the Strand is reclaimed land.
Wow. So the castle's nearest neighbour of worth was the building Tower Buildings.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Not too far away from it, was it?
No, absolutely. Because what has happened was, with this new thing, you know, the castle, they had fairs. They started to, They had to bring in artisans, the likes of carpenters.
Yeah.
They had to bring in the likes of stonemasons,
Yeah.
to build this castle. And they also got a street plan. A street plan. It was based on the Roman street plan, and it was like a letter H. So
Yeah.
they put this street plan into place. And I'll give you the 7 original streets in a moment. So everything, and the very first street was named, obviously, Castle Street. Castle Street. Then you had uh, Bank Street, but it's not bank as in, where our banks, when we go to the bank, or, where we've got money in, what money we have, like, is in there. So
It's like,
that became Bank Street because of the banks of the Mersey, you see.
yeah.
But eventually, as you know, it became Bank Street, as we know today.
Yeah.
Right? So then you had, now here's where it becomes, when they built the castle and they built the church, all the artisans, who built this church, all the workers, were saying, "Oh, this is great, this, can we go to Mass now?" And they went, "No, shut up, go and build your own church. You're not coming in here." They built it. They weren't allowed to go into the services. So they had to go away and build a church. Now, where's this street plan? I love Jason. There's the street plan. It's like a letter H, see?
Yeah.
It's like a letter H. So anyway, Castle Street became Castle Street. And Bank Street. And then you had the Dale Street. Because when you look at Dale Street, it slopes.
Yeah.
It slopes, and then it rises a little, and then it goes down again. You know where the ship and mitre is? It goes down, doesn't it, towards the Mersey Tunnel. So it wasn't a valley or anything else like that big. It was just a dale. It was a dale. So that's why it was called not Dale Street, but the Dale Street. So what has happened again? They decided to build. This is the Molyneux. They were a bit jealous of the castle, so they decided, "Oh, we could, we want one of them on the Mersey." So they decided to build this, and there it is, there on the right, and that's the Tower building.
Yeah.
That's the Tower.
That's
And
the
sorry, go on.
That's the picture I remember you showing.
Yeah.
It's, wow. The fact that there's nothing else there makes them more powerful.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And if you notice, Anthony, there's a wall around it, and that's to stop where the Mersey, coming in on outside.
Stop the floods.
Yeah, outside, you see. Anyway, over on the left of the picture, that's St. Nick's, because when they turned around and said, "Go and build your own church," they did. So they built St. Mary del Keys. Now, the keys isn't the key like in the church, but the keys are the water side, keys.
Yeah.
So it was called St. Mary del Keys, St. Mary of the Keys, right?
Yeah.
So that became that. And there's where you have Tower building. That's Tower building.
That's just...
It's unbelievable, isn't
it? It is unbelievable, Frank. And I knew, and I realized in awe when you showed me the drawings all them years ago, about 20 years ago, of the castle. That was like a mind blower, because again, we don't do that in school, and there's nothing around us. But I kind of always imagined that tower buildings was relatively new, as in we have the Liver building and then at the back, Tower building, but there's far more history in Tower building than our Graces. You
Yeah,
know, all of which beautiful. I mean, again, the power of that is the landscapes
yeah,
around the barrenness. And I remember years ago people saying, well, Scotland Road was once cornfields,
that's right.
all side of town were fields, and through this you can see why and where.
No, you're right, certainly, because the likes of Scotland Road, that that road led to Scotland, and London Road led
To London.
to London, and Prescott Road led to Prescott.
Yeah,
So you have all these, outlying things,
yeah,
outlying things, and which obviously the coaches went to. And this is what it's all about. This is the origins of Liverpool, which is absolutely. I just want to say hello to. I just want to say some of these comments. The vase of flowers. My dad's nan was from Scotland Road.
yeah. We, we were from there as well.
Yeah, well, it's strange, isn't it? Like Jerry Gardens is off Scotland Road, as you know. That's where I came from. And Mark Kearney says, do you think, Frank, Liverpool should have had a statue of King John? In fact, he gave us the charter. Yes, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. And the lovely Karen Kariaka. Good evening, Frank and Anthony. I hope everyone is well and keeping warm. I'm
Good evening.
freezing, Karen.
We're doing our best.
We're doing our best. So that's why I got this one. Absolutely. Do you know what I'm actually wearing? Of a day, I'm just sitting there. Another night, a onesie. I got myself a onesie.
Wow.
Brilliant. Not half warm, doesn't it? Because the heat here, there's no heating. Just don't have it on because it's absolutely ridiculous. It's
No.
pathetic. It's a
I've
waste
got
of time.
I've got hats and woolly jumpers buried everywhere, on it.
That's unbelievable. That's crazy. And Vase of Flower says, I've not visited enough castles. I visit, I've been there in San Malo, France. Though. Oh, yeah, I've been there. Lee, I've been there myself. And as Mark says, the strand means the shoreline, doesn't it? Where the shore was spot on, Mark. Well said. Well done.
Yeah.
And the vase says, the strand is by me.
Yeah.
And vase says, Bootle was nicknamed Bottle in Victorian times because of its inhabitants' propensity for hard drinking. Now you're talking. Shame McGowan to be made up with that.
That was like Liverpool in general this morning. Yeah.
And then Beth says, me man is from Scotty, no. Me man is from Scotty.
Right.
That's fantastic. And Charlie Wood says, I remember seeing an old map of Liverpool. I remember Mill Lane continuing from West Derby to Wavertree. Yeah, you're right. They were long roads, you see. They were long. It was just to see there was no signage then.
No.
So what you had these little stumps of concrete, and they were chiselled out, like it's 4 miles from say Wavertree to like wherever to West Derby. I'm just saying that. So you had that. You must have seen them in films or things like that where you see these old signage things. And there's one up by where is it by? There's one up by. Do you know where the Cabbage Pub is? up by in Anfield. There's one there. There's one there. There's one in West Derby as well. You just see like a little stone putting out the ground, putting out the ground.
Like a marker, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all it is. Because there was no signage, like there was. There was no signage whatsoever. Nothing.
I mean, maybe the gang can help, and yourself. Years ago, I did a bit of an exhibition based on Scotland Road, retracing some of my family's roots with St Anthony's and everything else. But while I was there, I was talking to a lovely guy who just came in, and he said that the longest passageway on a ship was forever known as the Scotland Road. Now, I didn't know if he was kind of spoofing me or if that was factual or a nickname for this long one end of the ship to the other end of the ship.
No, the Titanic, right? To balance it out, they dug up cobblestones from Scotland Road. Did you know that?
No.
And they put it along this, it's where the workers were, so they put it right along from one end to the other.
Yeah.
And they named that Scotland Road.
Right.
The Titanic.
That's where it must come from. Oh, wow.
That's where it came
That's
from.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to do it.
Get everywhere.
I'll be doing the Titanic in a couple of weeks, before we shut down for Christmas.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping that back. Keeping that back. And you'll be amazed about the Titanic, what I'll be saying. Honestly, you'll be amazed. But that's true. That's all the cobbles. It was for ballast. Yeah. All these cobblestones from Scotland Road. I'll give you another little idea as well. Do you know Shield Road? Shield Road, Anthony.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of material that was for? What was used to make that road? I'm going to surprise you if you don't.
No, go on.
Block paving. And I'm talking about wood. It was wood. Do you know when you go into it, like one of these old houses, and they've got this block, these...
Yeah.
That's what it was. Of wood.
Wow.
What it was of wood. Do you know why? Because in 1831, what you had was the very first zoological gardens in the entire world. In the entire world.
Wow.
Because this fella named Atkins, he went, I'm going to bring all these mad things over. And he brought animals over. And Shield Park was the very first zoological gardens. So Shield Road, for hard, a hard surface for these animals. They blocked it with wooden paving.
How fantastic was that?
Yeah, it's incredible. And in the 1930s, they were digging up Shield Road. No people, they were going out and they were picking up these lumps of, wood.
Oh.
You see in the house, the way that I forget what you call it, but when you walk into a house and you see this lovely wooden tile floor, that's what it was like. And they, the men and kids, they were picking them up for firewood. These wooden things in the 1930s.
Wow.
In the 1930s, when they was relaying Shield Road. But they were there for the safety of the animals. That's what it was for. That's what it was for. Shield Road and, block paving of wood. Block paving. It's incredible.
Amazing.
It is amazing, so, there's things like that which get involved with the... But anyway, I've got to do this clip I forgot about the clip. It's me being late, you see. It's me being late. So if I hope Jason's still listening. He's got a clip ready.
This is the old, now defunct royal infirmary. During the mid-19th century, parts of Liverpool were suffering from such terrible diseases as cholera, dysentery, typhoid. Liverpool philanthropist William Rathbone had seen such apathy in the poorer districts of Liverpool. With no medical help in these poorer districts, the poor people had to fend for themselves. William Rathbone had taken the initiative to bring in medical help to these poor wretches. He sent for a nurse named Agnes Jones, a caring, modest woman, and he was willing to pay her. Her dedication to caring for the sick and the poor was exemplary. Agnes Jones went straight into the poorer districts and even came here to the Royal, where she washed the walls down with lime to kill James. Ironically, going in to help these poor wretches, the poor people played a part in her death because she died of cholera while she was treating these people. A dedication and a sacrifice ended their life. Albeit that she was a Cambridge girl and she died here in Liverpool sacrificing her life, she wasn't buried here. Her body was taken over to Ireland where she's interred today. And people from here and all over the country actually go over to Ireland and put flowers on a grave. And we're very proud to have this Cambridge girl as one of Liverpool's heroes. Black widows, 40 thieves, men in balloons, wartime feats of incredible bravery. The echoes of the past and the shadows of what has gone before us are all around. I wonder what the future has in store for this amazing city. I'd prefer more heroes, and I'm sure you would too.
What do you think of that?
Absolutely brilliant, wonderful. I heard quite a few years ago from our good friend Mike Kelly. He gave me a quote which has kind of stayed with me forever, and I've done a drawing with the quote. Supposedly at the funeral of Agnes Jones, there was a particular priest, and he opened up his sermon by saying, "Angels walk amongst us."
Yes.
Which I have loved ever since he told me that. and I've heard that, and she sounds just absolutely angelic, you know.
Oh, you know, she had a tragic. I don't know whether I mentioned it there. I had to go take a couple of tablets. Anyway, what had happened? She came over. She was on her way to America with her parents and a brother and babe. There was a little baby as well. She was 11 years of age.
Wow.
Was she 11 or 9? I'm not quite so sure. No, she was 11. Anyway, she came over, but she floundered. The ship floundered. Her dad had drowned. He was the breadwinner. They were on the way to America, getting to Liverpool to get to America.
Wow.
And this is in 1794.
Wow.
Was it 74? Oh, 74. 74. 74 it was, I think. Anyway, no matter what, she came, 94 it was, and the ship floundered. And when they got the survivors, the little baby was dragged from the mother's arms in the sea. So the baby drowned, a new baby. So it affected the mother. Kitty and her little brother were indentured up to Lancaster in a cotton mill. In a cotton mill for 10 years. And she came back to Liverpool looking for her mother. Now, with her mother, lost the whole of the family within 48 hours, if you think. She lost all her family. She lost her baby. She lost her husband. She lost her 2 children. And she was indentured in a workhouse, a cotton mill. So she came back after 10 years looking for her mother. Looking for her mother. She was a very clever woman. And you know what she tried to do? She found her mother, but her mother was, unfortunately, she had terrible mental health problems, which you would after losing your whole of the family.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And she tried to open a school. Well, she did it. She never tried. She opens a school to try and teach kids, because there was no education then. No education whatsoever. Unfortunately, the school closed down because the children were afraid of her mother, because she acted, she was eccentric, put it that way. We'll just say she was eccentric. And people were afraid, the kids were afraid of her. So the school had to shut down because the people were taking the children away from the school.
Wow.
And that's the sad thing about Kitty. But anyway, what she did, she was an unbelievable lady. She cleaned clothes because she knew, as we were suffering in the 1930s of terrible cholera, dysentery and typhoid.
Yeah.
She cleaned clothes. She went out into the suburbs where, the well-off lived, and she cleaned their clothes, bed linen, clothing that you wore.
Put herself at risk all the time.
Yeah, she actually cleaned them with. She used soap, obviously, but she also used diluted lime to kill the germs. She went into workhouses to scrub walls.
Yeah.
Scrub walls. Kitty Wilkinson. She went down into the working class areas, as we call working class areas, the poorer districts.
Yeah.
And she washed the kids. She washed the poorer people's clothes for nothing, because she charged the well-to-do people for their clothes. So she did it for nothing. And this is what Kitty Wilkinson was like. She opened up a public baths.
Yeah.
A public baths. It was unheard of.
Yeah.
For the likes of us.
To get a wash.
To clean kids.
Yeah.
Clean kids.
Yeah. No,
and this is like Kitty Wilkinson. And, she went through life. She was married to a French prisoner of war, believe it or not, in the Napoleonic wars. He was a French prisoner, a soldier. He was a French soldier because they were incarcerated here in Liverpool. And his name was Jean Dumont. And she married him. But unfortunately, he was drowned at sea. So she was left with 2 children. And then she married this fella named Tom Wilkinson, who was a gardener. And he helped her then with this laundry sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the wash houses started from here.
Yeah.
The wash house, think about that. An incredible woman.
Yeah.
An incredible woman. Great. One of the greatest of all philanthropists.
Well, that will forever be, and you'll understand it really, Frank, forever be one of my regrets that I didn't do that portrait of her for Mike and for just to do it. And
yeah, but the point here, I understand that, and we do have regrets. There's always a regret in our lives, and you're one of them, unfortunately, because you didn't do that for the likes of Michael Kelly. Because Michael Kelly, I've got the book here somewhere, about Kitty Wilkinson. And Michael Kelly is no longer with us. He was a good friend of ours, as you know. Such a gentle man. And that's, you know,
like you, is a signpost to things that we should know about, and we don't for one reason or the other. It was never, as you, I never critical about, well, you're in the gang because you know a lot. You're not in the gang because you don't know that. It's just sharing of that information, and sometimes where it's so wonderful to come across something that you didn't know, a life you didn't know about, and it's just like magical. It takes you.
It is magical.
You know,
it is.
Maybe at some point in the year we should put it out there to our gang who are with us and say who are the top five people that should be acknowledged and are not, and I will pay. You will work with me and we'll display them somewhere, you know.
No, I think that's fantastic. I really think that's a fantastic thing. I really do, because there are people out there who deserve to be mentioned and
recognized,
something done for. Yeah, recognized. Yeah, of course.
And you would talk about them. We would exhibit them, talk about them, and hopefully them little ripples would go.
Yes, because as you know, a ripple, it spreads out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It spreads out. The ripple. Drop something in the water and the ripples fall.
And that's why I made up to be on with you, because that's what you do every week. You know, I'll go home tomorrow and I'll start researching all of the things that we talked about that I didn't know about.
Yeah, of course, because as you know, it's like the very first time anybody ever spoke about Liverpool. I'm going to read it. The first time. And it was written by a fellow by the name of John Leland. And he was the librarian plus the antiquary of Henry VIII. Now, when he came up to Liverpool, and he was amazed at Liverpool. And he came up in 1537, 1538. And he stayed at this grammar school, which is, do you know the Black Horse up in Walton?
I was born by it.
Well, you know,
I lived right up the road, Rhodesia Road.
Well, next to it, you see a very old building. And it was the very first, believe it or not, grammar school in the entire northwest of England.
Wow.
And that's where he stayed. And guess what? I taught there.
Get away.
Yeah, I taught there. Would you
Oh,
believe it? St. Mary's, isn't it? St. Mary's on the hill.
yeah.
And incredible. And this is where he wrote this. This is the very first thing written in 1538 by the antiquary John Leland after he arrives in Liverpool. But I'll show you where he arrives. I've got the picture. There he is, there, look.
Wow.
There he is, arriving in Liverpool. Isn't that incredible? I've got that.
Yeah.
I only found this today because I was going through something. Yeah, there it is, there, look.
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it? And, you can see the Liverpool crest on the bottom left. So if you could imagine, that's the Black Horse today. There he is.
Wow.
There's the church.
You know what?
St. Mary's.
For me, moments, and it's just been a landmark for forever.
It is, isn't it? It is.
Oh.
And here's what he wrote. Again, it's in Old English, what I've got here. He wrote, Liverpool, alias Liverpool. Now, he spelled Liverpool. This is the first time that Liverpool was spelled the way we spell it. But the only caveat there is there's an E at the end of Liverpool. So that was taken away over the years. So Liverpool, alias Liverpool, a paved town. A paved town. Because Liverpool, there's no other place in the whole of the country that was paved.
You got that right.
Yeah, well, for him to put that, you go, wow, a paved town. This is paved. And I've been paved since, when I've done all this research years ago, it was 1301 when I got right back. But it could have been before that Liverpool was paved. Yeah. And I'm not talking like slabs or anything. I'm talking about with stone, to keep the mud away and whatever, a little bit of dryness. So anyway, that's how. So there's a paved town that is a small custom paved that causes resorts of merchants. It has but a chapel, Walton, 4 miles off, not far from the sea. Not far from the sea is parish church.
Wow.
The king has a castlet there, and the Earl of Derby has a stone house there. Irish merchants come much thither as to a good haven. That's very important. As he says there, Irish merchants come much thither as to a good haven, meaning, it's good there, to come in with your ships. You're not getting silted up or anything like that. It's a good little harbour where you can do the trade. That's why he calls it a good haven for anyone to go to. You're talking 1538 here when he wrote this.
Wow.
And good merchandise at Liverpool, carries on saying. Now, if you think about it, these are the Irish, right, coming over. Ireland was a foreign country, It didn't belong to us or whatever. I hate saying that, it didn't belong to us. But it didn't belong, the island was Ireland, simple as that. So these are foreign merchants, Irish. Good merchandise at Liverpool. So whatever was coming into Liverpool was good. It was good. It wasn't rubbish or anything like that.
Trade.
Good merchandise at Liverpool and much Irish yarn, meaning the linen, much Irish yarn and cotton, right, that Manchester men do buy there. So Manchester cotton people were coming down to buy the Irish yarn for their mills. So Liverpool in 1538 was buzzing. But that's the first thing ever written about Liverpool.
Because we were trading then.
Yeah, and you know, all this like these myth people talk about is Liverpool was a little fishing village before the slave trade. It wasn't.
To trade?
It's what it was.
Yeah.
This proves Irish merchants come much thither as to a good haven, good merchandise at Liverpool, and much Irish yarn that Manchester men do buy there. A paved town. It's not a paved fishing village or anything like that. He mentioned Liverpool, alias Liverpool, a paved town.
Yeah. So it was established, or parts of it were established.
Yeah, absolutely. And it annoys me when the people say, you know, some people that it was only a little fishing village. It wasn't a fishing village at all. It was a little town. It was a town. It was a township.
Mm.
And in 1565, there was a hurricane that at Liverpool. And what buildings that were thatched and, you know, this little wooden things, they were blown away. And the only things that was left standing was the castle, was the little town hall that in 1515, John Cross came to Liverpool to do the business in, you know, because he built a house in Cross Hall Street. You know, so he at Cross Hall, you know, the family Cross built this hall, hence Cross Hall Street.
Yeah.
So he built and he moved there and he said, well, yeah, you can have this house here and do the business because people were going to Castle. And the sheriff was getting fed up, you know, said, oh, how come? Can't we get somewhere else? So John Cross gave them that. And that became, which is still called today, the town hall. He said, yeah, this is a home for the town to do the business. So that's why we're called the town hall today. Not city hall, but town hall. You see? Because you have city halls all over the place, don't you? But we don't. We keep to our tradition of the Liverpool's first town hall of 1515 by John Cross. And funny enough, his grandson, after this hurricane, he was the mayor at the time, his grandson, John Cross's grandson. And he said, you know, it killed people, unfortunately. It flattened loads of places. And the things that was standing was the Tower Building. Yeah, look, I'll show you what was standing.
You're still there now.
I'll show you what was standing. Hang on. If you see that picture.
Yeah.
Right. Can you see the castle there?
Yeah.
Right. And if you look at the Mersey, onto the Mersey, where you've got the waterfront, you can see St. Nick's Church, yeah?
Yeah.
Next to St. Nick's Church, you can see, believe it or not, you can see the Tower Building.
Yeah.
Right? And to the left of, as you're looking at it, at St. Nick's Church, you've got the battery for the soldiers. That's where the soldiers lived. Yeah, so you've got soldiers there. Also, what you've got to the right of the Tower Building, you've got two small buildings, haven't you, right on the beach there?
Yeah.
Well, that's Liverpool's first custom house. So yeah, that's a custom house. You didn't have custom houses and fishing villages. And everything. This is Liverpool's first paved town. This is a paved town. This is after 1566 because John Cross, I spoke about this fella. Remember when I was talking about Dino Sullivan? And he was there in the audience. With Kevin McMahon, he was with as well.
Yeah, Kevin.
it was incredible what I was talking about, the spirit of Liverpool. He became, in my opinion, the very first Scouser, to say, stay with us, stay here, don't go. Let's build Liverpool from stone so nothing else will blow away.
Yeah.
And that's how in 1566 Liverpool became the very first stone township in the whole of the country. In the whole of the country.
So are these the quarries in Woolton, places like that?
Yeah, all around, yeah. Wilton, yeah, the quarries there.
So we build a city out of what we've got.
Even in St. James's Cemetery, that was a quarry as well. Do you know where else was a quarry? It's going to surprise you there. Moorfields.
Yeah, way.
Yeah, because they ran out of, when they were building the castle, they ran out of sandstone because, whatever they knocked up when they were flattening the ground to build the castle on. So they went up to Moorfields because Moorfields from Dale Street was like that. So they cut it out. Right facing, the station there, right facing it.
Exchange.
Yeah, Exchange Station. And it was incredible actually because they started to take all this thing and then they expired that. They said, oh, this is not enough. So then, you're not going to believe this, where he went up to was Lime Street, where Lime Street Station is.
Wow.
There was a big mound of all the stone that they needed. The stone. Now, if you look at Lime Street Station and you go next door to or going Bolton Street, going to Scalone Street, it's like that. From Lime Street, isn't it? It's like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, they started to take stone from there to bring down to finish off the castle. To finish it off. So by the time Liverpool decided to bring the railway into the city centre rather than having it up in Edge Lane there and Tunnel Road. They said, we'll bring it into there. Well, where can we go then? So they were looking around. They said, yeah, go here. This is all right here because half of it was gone. So you had the likes of, do you know where the fella in Rodney Street is buried, Mackenzie? Do you know the pyramid?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, he was the Scottish engineer who brought from Tunnel Road, Lime Street tunnel coming into Lime Street. So he built that, He burrowed right through. So he decided to do the tunnel from there because it was handy into Lime Street because of years before, a few hundred years before, where they were taking the stone from Lime Street to build a castle. So half of it was already flattened.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
So there you have that. So there's always connections.
Because the whole history of where we live, whole history of Liverpool is kind of happens sometimes because we've been in the right place at the right time, and we've got it all. Let's move that. Okay. You can almost imagine this transformer, like this giant picking up out of the earth and just building a city.
Yeah.
That looks like Venice there.
It does look at that's when it became the very first stone township. And when you see these ships, now you're talking when we became the stone township, you're actually looking at it It's a stone township. You're looking at 1566, if you know, just a bit further on. But look at the stonework. Look at it.
Yeah.
Right in the background there, where you got that building with the tower, that was the very first town hall. The very first town hall.
Wow.
That's what you're at. But it wasn't the first because John Cross gave his house, so they built on top of it, if you like.
Wow.
Built on top of it. So you've got the castle there.
Yeah.
And right in front, right to the right of the tower building there, you've got the custom house. That was a very, very important, a custom house, because of all the trade that we were actually doing now.
Yeah.
It's incredible, that particular picture there. Incredible. And this is what you have. I think it's wonderful. And there's the pool coming off the Mersey, and that's how it was named. When you look at it, those black dots that you see is what's there today. Because the 3 dots that come, where the pool is starting, that's where the dock was. That's where the dock was. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. You've got Church Street, you've got Central Station, where these I can't go right through them, but you've got one dot, which is just to the right, just a bit further up. That's Central Station. Then you've got the Adelphi Hotel. The other dot is Lime Street. You've got St George's Hall, which is near the pool. Those 3 dots to the left. You've got the art gallery and the library and the museum in William Brown Street. And just below those 3 dots, you've got the Mersey Tunnel, the entrance to the Mersey Tunnel. Wow. It's incredible. And to the left, the extreme left, just a bit further up, not at the bottom, it's what we said before, or what you said, Exchange Station, that particular dot there. Isn't it brilliant?
Absolutely, Frank. Absolutely brilliant. To see how it originates, where it comes from. That strip from the statue to the art gallery and down William Brown Street, with the St John's Gardens and St George's Hall. That is my favourite part of the city, by none. I could sit there, stand there, walk that for hours every day, and I love that.
Yeah, it is. You get these. You've got what was his name? You had a wonderful man and his son. His bloody name escapes me, and it shouldn't really. Must be the illness. Anyway, you had a lad and a son, and they did a wonderful pictorial of Liverpool.
Yeah.
In drawings and paintings.
Oh, Hardman.
Hardman, yeah. And a son.
God.
William Hardman.
Thank God for him. What a man. Yeah. I've got the same book, and I think Lenny tidied it up last week, but the same book. I took so much inspiration from that, and I did some web research on him, and I loved the story that he would wake up in the morning and the house was on Everton Brow or somewhere up there, and he would take transport, carriage or whatever, and he'd say to the guy, take a left or take a right, and wherever he landed, he'd just draw or paint what he saw.
Yes.
And that's the way. I love that.
So you've got a pictorial of it. I'm going to show you something, mate.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you something. And again, it's by Hardman.
Maybe he should be one of our greats that we do.
Yeah. absolutely. Happening. He's giving you the history in it's like a photographer
Yes.
or a filmmaker. A
Yeah.
filmmaker, for example, showing you Liverpool.
Yeah.
And you're, wow,
Photos.
look
Yeah.
at that, mate. Oh, look at what was there. Oh, look at that. Isn't that fantastic?
That's
Just
right.
let me take this off a moment and I'll show you this picture. You're gonna, I hope you've got this. This is absolutely amazing. I hope I can get it all in. I'm going to tell you where it is or where it was. Look at that.
Wow.
Look
Wow.
at that.
Wow.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That is fantastic. Just
I'm,
the architecture and that alone.
I'm going to sicken your ears. You know where that is or was?
It
That
reminds me of Exchange Station, but I don't think it is.
no, it's not. But do you know? Do you know where it is? It's incredible. It's where now St. John's Market is. Do you know where that big
Wow.
stupid screen is?
Yeah.
That is that.
Oh my God.
And they knocked it down further. You know, to put something there.
1971, town planners.
Yeah, yeah. I used to go to I forget the pub. I forget was it the clock? No, it wasn't the clock. I forget the pub anyway. I used to go in there with the lads, you know, in our late teens and early 20s. I'll show you another one. I think I'll sicken you again, to be honest. I'm gonna say it's good though. It's good. Let me show you. You mentioned, you mentioned exchange stations, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right? You mentioned it, and they had to modify it after a while because what you see, the front of it, I love it. A fellow named Shelmadine designed it. Shelmadine. Shelmadine, the brothers. This was Henry Shelmadine who designed the frontage, what you see today, right?
Yeah.
And Thomas Shelmadine, he designed. Do you know the Tudor buildings around Sefton Park, the lodges?
Yeah.
He designed them, and he also designed the library, which is again it's Tudor, mock Tudor building in Everton Road
Wow.
by Mere Lane there. Well, it's on Mere Lane. So he designed that as well. And do you know what else he designed? I'll surprise you here. He designed or he landscaped the cemetery of St. John's Gardens. When the church was knocked down, he landscaped. So we've got him to thank for St. John's Gardens. The Shelmadine's absolutely brilliant. But have a look at this. This is when it was first built. Exchange Station. I'll try and bring it out. Can you see that? Look at
Yeah.
look at the steps and everything leading up to it.
Wow.
That's Exchange Station.
Wow.
Isn't that immense?
It is immense. It is brilliant.
That's incredible. So, you know, there's things like that. I've always loved pictures. And you're right, you know, you're so right about everything. Can I just go through some wonderful comments here, Anthony, please? Because I think they really need to be mentioned. I think there's a cracking little, there's a cracking by a lad. Where is he? I hope he's here. I've seen it before. Aztec. Hang on. I'm sorry about this. I'm awfully sorry. Um, okay, got it. Oh yeah, this lad has that. He said, "I'm a new sub, but I don't even know why I subbed, but I'm glad I did. Hello from Shropshire." Isn't that nice?
That's wonderful. And hello.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
And he's been with us. He's been with us since. And Aztec says, "Hello, Redbirds. Yes, I'm enjoying the show and nice to meet you." Well, this fella's from Shropshire.
Good.
Do you know what I'm made up with, though? Not one. All these lads are Reds, you know, and they haven't mentioned football once. And I'm made up with that because they have the show, as you know, the parts and all of that.
Yeah, I know you got, but you know, it's the great thing. The great thing about this city is we do sport very well, we do music very well, we do every conceivable creative thing very well. And I, rather than see it as a red city or a blue city, I see it as a red, white, and blue. I know over this side we've got Tranmere, who are not in the same league as the Reds and the Blues, but the passion that fuels everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's the Liverpool passion that fuels every conceivable angle of life. And
well, I'm sorry, go on, carry on.
What I was going to say is, as you described tonight, Frank, and that goes way, way, way back to 1200. You know.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Because John Cross in 1565, this was on a Christmas Eve, because that particular hurricane, it's known as the Great Storm, but it was a hurricane. And he gathered them around on a Christmas Eve and he said, "Please stay with me. Let's build what we've got from stone." And you had to have licenses then, by the way. But we just carried on. You had to have license to have a paved town. And we just carried on. Oh, let's do it. Sod them. Licenses. Let's get it done. This is what we were like right up to the beginning of the Second World War.
Yeah.
This is why we were neglected for years after the Second World War. We were neglected because we just got on and done it ourselves.
Yeah.
You have to have a license to have a zoological gardens. Just shut off and just got all these animals. You know, in 1831.
Yeah.
And you had the likes of William Roscoe, who's supposedly the greatest of all Liverpudlians, because he brought everything to Liverpool. He brought the passion of the arts from Italy over to Liverpool.
He too is one of our heroes. And, do you know, we're talking about heroes that we want to immortalise and say their gift, their legacy to the city is our gift. You don't have to be Scousers.
No.
They have to be people who I'm thinking, who put in something. We've met many people who are not born here, but it's like their passion and their love for the city is like they should be born here. Wonderful, you know.
Do you know one of my favourites is? You know, they're all favourites, don't get me wrong, but, you know, a special mention. And he was from London, this fella.
Yeah.
From London. And he came up to Liverpool. And he looked and he went, he knew what was going on in London. He knew that what was going on. You're talking Victorian times here. He knew what was going on all around the country. And he felt so sorry for the poor people. Just let me get something, Anthony. Do me a favour if you can. just comment on one of these. Hang on. Yeah, I think that it's like when we were talking about Kitty Wilkinson. Vase of Flowers says, my nan said they were given clothes for the poor when she was 6, and they itched the children's skin so badly the kids all cried. Now, can you just say a little bit about while I go and get this thing, about Kitty and what she did and, how she helped the kids to dress?
She was one of many, and she's the forerunner of everyone who was trying to help people, and it's so many little pockets of people along the way. But Kitty is probably more so recognised today than she was at the time, and obviously for situations like that, it's like people didn't matter, poverty didn't matter. It's always been that issue of not wanting to spend money on the slums, the areas, the workers. And she saw the importance of it, the same way as Dr. Duncan did, but in a different field. And it's these people who we talk an awful lot today about this political term of levelling up, which means nothing today. But then this is like levelling up is giving people a chance in life, and they did it, as did.
Well, that's it, isn't it? What you just said. These are great philanthropists, and what I was going to mention was David Jones from London. He came up and he looked around and he went, David Lewis. Did I say David Jones then?
Yeah.
David Lewis. And he looked around and he went, and he opens a shop because people couldn't afford anything.
Yeah.
Couldn't afford anything. And he opens a shop. And the same man, so that people could afford something.
Yeah.
So he looked at, kids and, look at this. And people walking around with broken legs and that.
Yeah.
So he decided to open up 2, not 1, but 2 hospitals. The Northern and the Southern Hospital. Then he opens up because people, the rich people, well-to-do people, were going to the theatres. Unfortunately, the likes of the poorer people couldn't go.
No.
So he opens up a theatre, and they bloody well knocked that down in the 70s or the 80s. And that was the David Lewis Theatre up by the Anglican Cathedral there. David Lewis, he opened Lewis's. He opened 2 hospitals, not 1, and the David Lewis Theatre so poor people could go and get some entertainment.
Amazing.
What a man.
What a man. Exactly.
What a man.
And then you have the Merry Fountains. So individually, these people are trying to restore the balance. Thank God, and God bless them for it, between the haves and the have-nots.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And it's so sad. Well, before I finish, there's something for you, Anthony. Before I finish.
Gino, lady, and me snuck in.
Isn't that beautiful?
Absolutely.
And our lady, look at our lady looking scrumptious as usual. But look at Dino in the background. Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that so poignant?
I put that up on my Facebook this week.
Oh, did you? I don't go on Facebook anymore.
Frank, believe me, I haven't been on it for ages. I don't like it anymore. I think it's a hostile environment. I don't do it. But I went on I heard the news that we'd lost Dino, and I saw a lot of kind of I regarded as fake or sanctimonious comments, because everyone loves you when you're gone. You know, it's that kind of thing. And I had in mind to put a thank you and say what he did for us, you know, put us on TV, introducing us to people, just being there like you and going for the drink and that support. And I didn't have it in me because I was reading so much dross, some lovely stuff.
Yeah.
And then I just put up kind of that photograph, and it's a photograph that a lovely guy called Eddie Barford, who's a photographer for the Echo, he took, I think, and it's that portrait, and Dino's standing next to it, and he's kind of taking the proverbial of his own portrait, and I'm in the corner and put that up, and we just said,
that's brilliant.
We send out all our love, Dino, and thank you. You know,
isn't that great, isn't it? But that was a little surprise for you, didn't it?
Yeah, that's lovely. 7th of January 2007.
Yeah.
And you were there with us. You were there with good Eddie Klein.
Eddie, yeah. Funny enough, I was looking for a book today, trying to look, and I couldn't find it. And I found Eddie Klein's, believe it or not. Strangely enough. But anyway, see, you know, I was going to talk, it's been great tonight, it really has, and some wonderful comments and everything else. And I was going to do a few Victoria Crosses, but I'll do them next week.
Yeah.
Because, and I want to talk about a certain portrait that you did, and that was of Wilfred Owen.
Yeah.
That was of Wilfred Owen. And I'll be talking about a few things next week, a few Victoria Crosses, because we haven't got time now, because I do recite some poetry.
Did you get to see when they beamed Wilfred up on the building by St George's Hall? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
To mark the anniversary of the end of the First World War, and obviously his death, it was beamed up. So you come out of Lime Street, there's a big hotel building at the back of the Crown, that old boozer there, and it was beamed up for 3 days and 3 nights, and it was it was the most wonderful thing to see it up there, and to see the veterans in the shadow of it. You know, it was lovely. Very proud to be part of it.
No, I was invited. I wasn't invited to that, but when they opened up something over the water in Birkenhead somewhere, I was invited there to do a talk about it in the library.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the window, didn't they? So I was made up with that. They invited me over and gave the talk about him.
Because his old family home was just around the corner from the library.
Yeah, that's right.
When his dad worked at Hamilton Square station.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest soldier poets of all time. And I'll be talking about him next week on your portrait, by the way, if you don't mind, of Wilfred Owen. And I'll be talking about people who won these.
Amazing.
The Victoria Cross.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
didn't realise I've got one of these.
Yeah.
I haven't won it, like. To be honest, I got it when I went to Derby game.
Wow.
Joking all you Evertonians out there, if there's any. No, it's I'll be talking about that next week. A few VCs, I've got to talk about them. I really have. And the final show before Christmas, what I'll be talking about, the Titanic.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll be talking about the Titanic, which will be great.
That's so there's a wonderful company. We were working with the developers on something, and Laney and I suggested to them that commemorate the end of the war, we beam something up on the building. And they were kind of, because these are all, behind the portrait of Wilfred are windows where people can look out.
Yeah.
Laney found this amazing firm who could project it. And the council, who originally didn't really want to get involved, the developers didn't want to get involved, and we brought them all together, and we all kind of said, listen, let's just do it for the price of beaming it up. No one's going to make any money out of it. It's not for us. It's not for anyone. It's just, as the tagline on the bottom, lest we forget, it's to commemorate all the soldiers.
Yeah.
Wilfred is the figurehead of that. And they all said, yeah, let's do it. So on the Friday night, we went out and tested it, and it kind of worked, but we couldn't get it large enough to fill the building. On the Saturday, the lads played a blind and got that. So the Saturday night, and then the Sunday was Remembered Sunday, and then it faded out at midnight on the Sunday. So it faded and faded and faded till it was black.
That's fantastic, that though, isn't it? It really is fantastic. Great portrait as well, what you did. Well, I'll be talking about him next week. I'll be talking about some Victoria Cross holders that you've never heard of.
Thanks, Jason.
Got about Norman here, evening Frank and Anthony.
Evening, Anne.
I've got to finish.
No.
Got to finish. Charlie Cairns. Charlie, why didn't you let me know? Is there any chance, Charlie, you can get down to me on your scooter? I'd like to see you. Please come down and see me, Charlie. Please. He's a great lad. He's one of the surviving friends I've got, because I've heard so much death in the last few weeks from the likes of Jake, Yeah. And Charlie Cairns got hold of me and said, I've got some bad news for you. He said, I'm sorry to do it through the show because we've lost touch with one another. This is the only time that I ever get to know Charlie. And he told me about a dear friend of mine, an old mate, from growing up, Tony Farrell, he died. And no one told me at all because I don't go on that bloody Facebook. And no one told me when the service was, and obviously it was last week now, and it was only at St. Anthony's as well, not far from where I live. Oh. And I'm fuming over it because these were dear people to me. These were very dear. And it's not that I can get around anymore. That's why I said to Charlie, come down and see me. Please come down and see me. these are the sad things. And now we get Dino, which came as a great. My daughter, Francine, phoned me up. And she said, Dad, have you heard about Dean Sullivan? And I went, no, is he in hospital? She said, no, Dad.
Yeah.
And then she told me. It's the way it is. But let's end on a positive note, Andy. Let's end on a positive note.
Remembrance is a positive note, and thankful.
Yeah.
For our friends, and we've had them.
Yeah. And we love them. We love them.
Yeah, we
love them.
Yeah, and we talk about them, we paint them, we write books about them, and we always will, because that's what inspiration does,
I've got to meet you and Laney if you're going for a drink before Christmas. I'm taking Francine out. I have a tradition, but I won't be going out this Christmas Eve. It's always a Christmas Eve, but Christmas Eve falls on a Sunday, so I won't be going in. But what I will do, I'll message you to say what day we're going out, and I'd love to meet you and Laney before the Christmas. Okay, Anthony?
We definitely will. Yeah.
That'll do me. Anyway, look at that. That's lovely. Charlie was great show again, Frank. Very interesting. Thank you so much, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie.
And the vase says, see you later, Frank and Anthony. Isn't that lovely?
Cheers, Lee.
And I'm not finished. Look, he says, I nearly met Dean Sullivan at St. George's Hall in 1999 when I made a sculpture of John Lennon, and my prize came first. Great show to you both and all. Take care and good night and get better. Isn't that lovely?
Cheers, Mark. You'd have loved them.
Yeah. I nearly met.
Mark, thank you.
But it's Anthony. Next week, don't forget, we're doing something on the wonderful man who you did a portrait of, and that's Wilfred Owen, if that's okay. You know what I mean? I've just got an answer, JK here. Is Dean Sullivan Jimmy Corkill or Sinbad?
Jimmy
Corkill.
Jimmy Corkill, yeah. Mickey Stark is Sinbad, yeah.
Yeah. I had Mickey on there. I had Mickey, funny enough, on the show. When the show starts, this one now, when you look at the credits, you see I had him and Jake on. The three of us. There's a photograph of us on, when the credits start the show. Mickey, he was sitting here, and I always have my chair, just the chair he used. And anyway, I said, yeah, Mickey, go in. So he walks in, sits on my chair. He's sitting there with his cap on. I said, what are you doing with your cap on? He said, it's cold out. So then we went to the studio, that's when we had the studio. And that was the night, and Jake. Oh, God, blimey. Anyway, look at that. Isn't that lovely? Charlie Cairns. Good night. God bless Frank and Anthony. Charlie, please get hold of me. Send me a message. I'll get hold of you, and I'll give you my address. You've got my address, I'm sure of it. So please come down and see me. I want to see you. Come down on your bike, on your scooter. Come down on your scooter, and we can bring it up and we can put it in my hallway. There's no problem. Please come down, okay, and see me one day. Please do that. JK says, what an actor. R.I.P. Mr. Sullivan. You'll never walk alone. Isn't that lovely?
Lovely.
Isn't that lovely? Arthur Schofield. Thank you both for a wonderful evening, gents. Good night and God bless you.
Thank you, Arthur. Good night. God bless.
So next week, people, I'll be doing more history, but I'll be doing Liverpool lads who won this.
Yeah.
The Victoria Cross. I'll be talking about them. I'll be talking about some soldier poets as well. Wonderful soldier poets. None more so than what Anthony did about the portrait of Wilfred Owen himself. And be talking about other things as well besides. And we'll have a wonderful evening. And I think I've got also on Gerard Gilligan talking about some astronomy. So it's going to be a big packed show. Anthony, Gerard, myself, and Wilfred Owen. And don't forget, people, thank you for joining us tonight, Anthony and myself. Thank you for everything, for the wonderful comments. Sorry I couldn't get through all the comments. But tomorrow night, I've got the football show. Don't miss that. Don't miss tomorrow night's football show because we'll be just talking Liverpool. And we'll be talking about the game. The game, that's what we'll be talking about. The game. The last few minutes when Frank, who can't move, jumped out of the couch, nearly at the ceiling. Unbelievable. But join me tomorrow night.
Incidentally, Frank, it was great to tune in last week. And I know there's only you and George on for a while.
Yeah.
But you were having a chat about history of the club and players, which was fantastic. Great to listen to.
Yeah.
It would be great to have on the club.
I might have the I think J.K. Kismer comes on tomorrow. I'm not quite so sure. J.K. He's a cracking lad, J.K. And the Vase of Flowers, we'll have him on as well. And George Scott, we'll have him. So George will be with us tomorrow night. It should be a lively show as well. Should be. And thank you so much, people. I've got to thank my wonderful friend there, Anthony Brown.
Thank you.
No, thank you for keeping me great company. And most importantly, I've got to thank, you know what I haven't thanked? My sponsors. I'm awfully sorry. I've got to thank Gap Painting Services for sponsoring the Frank Carlyle Show. And I'm awfully sorry. Gap Paintings, if you need something done, if you need it, get it done by these. I'll mention them tomorrow night on the football podcast. I'll definitely mention them. Gap Painting Services, fully timed serve lads, fully insured, first class work. So if you need anything done, get this Gap Painting Services in. Not only that, but if you're an NHS worker, or if your sister works in the NHS, if your mum, if anybody works in the NHS that belongs to your family, they'll get a great discount. Not only that, but if you're an OAP, if you've got grandparents or not even grandparents, your mum and dad could be pensioners, they get great discounts. You could be an OAP yourself. You get great discounts if you need something done right now before Christmas. Get these people in because they're first class. And I'm sorry but I will mention them again tomorrow. So from Anthony and myself, the most important people is you out there, along with Jason. Jason is a great producer. As you know, great friend of mine, wonderful producer. He sets everything up. He's got all the backgrounds and everything, not me. I couldn't do anything. So I've got to thank him. But most importantly, I've got to thank you and Gap Painting Services for sponsoring the show. Thank you so much. Anthony, I hope you join us tomorrow. You know,
I will. Yeah, I'll tune in till the fighting starts or the singing.
Okay, thank you, Anthony. See you next week. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Oh, look at that, the last one. Top show at Frank and Anthony. You'll never walk alone from J.K. Kismet.
Thank you.
I hope to see you tomorrow night. I really do. Hope to, anyway. Thanks, Anthony, and I'll...
Thanks, Frank.
I'll see you there.
See you next week.
See you definitely. Yes, see you next week. Thank you. And that's it from me and from Anthony and from everybody else. Thank you so much. Love you all. And all you football fans, see you tomorrow night.